Space was vast and full of dangers. Among the stars, many alien species had built powerful fleets and ruled the skies. They were fast, strong, and smart. Humanity was new to this galactic stage. They had just begun to send ships beyond their own solar system. But one ship stood out, not for its power or speed, but because it was slow and old. The ship was called the USS Benjamin Franklin. It was one of the first true warships built by humans for deep space combat. Compared to the sleek alien destroyers and agile fighters, it looked clumsy and outdated. Its engines were slower than most, and its weapons were not the strongest. When it arrived at joint military exercises with allied alien forces, the other pilots laughed. "Look at that turtle," said a Zarnathi officer, his voice full of mockery. "Does it need a push to move?" Others joined in. The Virex pilots made jokes about it being a floating museum. Even the Karani, who were usually polite, gave it doubtful looks. The Benjamin Franklin was not welcome among the elite warships of the galaxy. Its captain, Daniel Harper, was a quiet man. He did not argue or react to the insults. He simply watched, listened, and learned. He had spent years studying space tactics and knew that speed wasn't everything, but no one cared what he thought. His executive officer, Megan Brooks, tried to defend him once. She argued that the ship had solid armor and strong shields, but even she wondered if it could really fight in real combat. Their mission was simple: patrol the edge of human space and report any unusual activity. No one expected much from them. They were only there to fill a spot like a training ship. Then came the attack. A small scouting fleet from the Karani entered human space without warning. They targeted a colony on the far side of a moon, a small, unguarded settlement of scientists and miners. The alarm went up, but all nearby ships were too far away. Only the Benjamin Franklin was close enough to respond. As the enemy began their assault, Harper gave calm orders. The ship moved slowly into position, using the moon's shadow to hide. The crew worked quickly, locking onto targets. "Fire when ready," Harper said. The ship's heavy railguns fired with precision, striking the lead enemy vessel. The Karani were surprised. They had expected an easy strike, not resistance. Thanks to careful planning and clever use of terrain, the Benjamin Franklin disrupted the attack. The enemy retreated, confused and damaged. No one laughed now. Harper sat in his command chair, watching the data stream in. He didn't smile or celebrate. He just nodded. "We showed them something today," he said quietly. Megan looked at him, her respect growing. Maybe, just maybe, this slow warship had more to show. The attack on the colony made waves across the galactic network. Reports spread fast. A slow human ship had stopped a Karani strike force. No one expected that. Most thought it was luck. Some didn't even believe it at first. But the data was clear. The USS Benjamin Franklin had acted with skill and precision. Captain Daniel Harper became a name people whispered about, not in praise, not yet, but with curiosity. Some called him stubborn, others called him strange. But none could deny that his ship had done something unexpected. Megan Brooks noticed the change. First, she saw how the crew looked at Harper now. They still followed orders, but there was more trust in their eyes. Even the engineers who once complained about the ship's outdated systems started taking pride in keeping it running. Then came another test. A distress call arrived from a nearby mining station. The Virex swarm had sent a small fleet to raid it. The station had no weapons, only workers and cargo ships. Help was far away. Again, the Benjamin Franklin was the closest human ship. Most captains would have called for backup. Harper did not. Instead, he studied the enemy's movement patterns. He watched how they moved, how they grouped, how they attacked. He waited. The Benjamin Franklin moved slowly through space, using passive sensors so as not to be seen. It hid behind asteroids and used the dark side of a nearby planet to stay hidden. When the time was right, Harper gave the order. The ship fired from long range. Heavy railguns struck 2 enemy fighters before they knew what hit them. Then, the Benjamin Franklin vanished again. Confusion spread among the Virex. They searched for the attacker, but Harper kept moving. He never stayed in one place long enough to be targeted. With careful timing and perfect aim, the Benjamin Franklin disabled the lead enemy cruiser. Without command, the rest of the Virex fleet hesitated. The mining station was saved. This time, the battle footage was shared widely. Alien officers watched it with surprise. The human warship hadn't fought like the others. It didn't chase or rush. It waited. It watched. It struck from nowhere. Some began calling it the Ghost. Harper heard the nickname but said nothing. He only told Megan, "Slow doesn't mean weak." Megan smiled. She was starting to understand. Maybe the galaxy wasn't ready for this kind of war yet. But they would be. Captain Daniel Harper and the USS Benjamin Franklin were no longer just a joke. Across human space and even among alien fleets, whispers grew louder. The slow warship had struck twice, and both times it had won without speed or flashy weapons. Now it was time for the third test. A Zarnathi fleet moved toward a human supply line near the edge of known space. Their mission was clear: cut off resources, scare the humans, and show who really ruled this part of the galaxy. The Zarnathi sent fast ships ahead, scanning for danger. They found nothing. But Harper was already there. The Benjamin Franklin floated silently behind a field of space debris, engines at minimum power. Its sensors were off, lights dimmed. It was almost invisible. Harper didn't want to be seen until the right moment. The Zarnathi strike force began its attack on the nearest cargo station. Explosions lit up the dark. The station tried to call for help, but no one was close enough to answer, except the Benjamin Franklin. Harper gave quiet orders. The crew moved fast, locking onto enemy ships. "Fire when ready," he said. The ship's railguns roared to life. 2 Zarnathi destroyers took direct hits before they could react. The rest scrambled, trying to find the attacker. Harper didn't let them think. He ordered the ship to move, not forward but into a nearby gravity well caused by a dying star. The pull was strong, but not deadly. It bent light and warped radar signals. The Benjamin Franklin disappeared from view. The Zarnathi, commander, furious and confused, ordered all ships to search for the human ship. But while they looked, Harper planned. He used the gravity well like a slingshot. With perfect timing, the Benjamin Franklin came flying out of the dark, firing again. Another cruiser exploded. The Zarnathi fleet broke formation. Then, as quickly as it started, the battle was over. The Benjamin Franklin vanished once more into the void. Reports spread across the galaxy. This wasn't luck anymore. This was skill, tactics, strategy. Alien admirals began to study the battles. They saw patterns. The human captain never fought fair. He used traps, hiding spots, and space itself to win. They called it ghost tactics. Even Megan Brooks, Harper's XO, was starting to believe. She asked him once how he did it. Harper only smiled slightly and said, "Space is big. Most people look where they expect you to be. I go where they don't." And that made all the difference. The USS Benjamin Franklin had earned a name for itself. No longer just a slow warship, it was now known as the Ghost that struck from nowhere. But with fame came danger. A message came through a hidden channel. It was not from command. It was from someone outside the fleet. The sender's name was Kyle Mercer. Mercer used to be part of the human navy. Years ago, he served on a deep space patrol ship. Then something went wrong. A mission failed. Lives were lost. Mercer was blamed. He was removed from service and never allowed back. Now he was reaching out. The message was short. "They know where you are going. They will be waiting." Harper read it twice. His face stayed calm, but his mind raced. If it was true, then the next mission would be a trap. The Zarnathi swarm had sent word. They were planning a full strike on a human outpost. The Benjamin Franklin was ordered to respond first. Other ships would follow later. It looked like a normal mission. But Harper knew better. He called Megan Brooks into the command room. She read the message and frowned. "Why should we trust him?" she asked. "He was kicked out He has no reason to help us." Harper didn't answer right away. He looked at the stars beyond the view screen. "People change," he said finally, "and sometimes the truth gets buried under blame." Megan crossed her arms. "So what do we do?" Harper stood up. "We find out if he's telling the truth." The crew was split. Some believed Kyle. Others thought he was trying to get them killed. But Harper made a decision. Instead of heading straight to the outpost, the Benjamin Franklin changed course. It moved slowly, hiding behind a ring of space rocks near a dead planet. Hours passed. Then sensors picked up movement. Zarnathi ships. Dozens of them. Waiting. They weren't just attacking the outpost. They were setting a trap. For the Benjamin, Franklin Mercer had told the truth. Harper turned to Megan. "Looks like we owe him one." She nodded slowly. "What now?" Harper gave a small smile. "Now we show them that ghosts don't scare easy." He walked back to his seat and gave an order to the crew. "Prepare for battle. We're not running, we're hunting." The USS Benjamin Franklin floated silently behind a broken moon. Engines low. Lights dimmed. The Zarnathi trap was set. Their fleet waited in open space, expecting an easy kill. But Captain Daniel Harper had other plans. He studied the enemy positions on the main screen. Megan Brooks stood beside him, watching closely. "They think we're coming straight at them," she said. Harper nodded. "That's what they want us to think." Instead of charging forward like the enemy expected, he gave quiet orders. The ship launched a line of old drone shells, empty hulls that looked like real ships on radar. They moved fast, drawing attention. Away from the Benjamin Franklin, the Zarnathi took the bait. "Contact," a crewman called. "Enemy ships moving toward the drones." Harper watched as the enemy split into two groups. One chased the fake targets. The other waited for the real threat. He turned to Kyle Mercer, who had joined them through a secure link. "You said they had a command ship hidden nearby." Mercer nodded. "Yes, it's cloaked, but I know how to find it." Mercer had once worked with alien tech. He knew their signals, their patterns. With his help, the Benjamin Franklin adjusted its sensors just enough to spot a small distortion in space. There it was. Harper pointed at the screen. "Target that spot. Full power." The railguns charged. The ship fired. A flash lit up the void. A Zarnathi command cruiser appeared as the blast tore through its shields. The enemy scrambled. Their forces lost control. Then Harper made his move. The Benjamin Franklin came out of hiding, firing again and again. Enemy fighters tried to respond, but they were too late. The human warship struck hard and vanished before the return fire could hit. The battle was over in minutes. The Zarnathi retreated, confused and damaged. The outpost was safe. Back aboard the Benjamin Franklin, the crew cheered. For the first time, Kyle Mercer smiled. Megan walked up to him. "Why help us?" Mercer looked at her. "Because I wanted to make things right." She nodded. "Well, you did." Harper stepped in. "Welcome back, Kyle." Mercer gave a small salute. "Thank you, sir." No one laughed anymore when they saw the slow warship. Now they feared it. And soon the whole galaxy would know why. The battle near the broken moon changed everything. The USS Benjamin Franklin was no longer a joke. Across human space, officers studied its tactics. On alien warships, commanders spoke its name with caution. What once seemed slow now felt like silence before a storm. News spread fast. Other human ships began copying parts of Harper's style. They learned how to hide better, how to strike from far away, how to use space itself as a weapon. But none could match the Benjamin Franklin. Not yet. Then came the message from command. Harper was being offered something new, a chance to lead a full task force. Fast ships, heavy weapons, and full support. He would be promoted to Rear Admiral. It was an honor, a reward, a sign that command finally believed in him. But when Megan Brooks read the order, she saw the look on his face. "You're not going," she said. Harper shook his head. "No." She crossed her arms. "Why not? You earned this." He looked out the view screen at the stars. "I didn't fight to get a title. I fought to protect our people." Megan sighed but understood. She had seen it happen before. Leaders moved up, left their ships behind, and forgot what it meant to fight. Harper stayed where he was, on the Benjamin Franklin, with his crew. Command agreed to let him keep the ship, but they did send upgrades, new targeting systems, faster sensors, lighter armor. The ship became stronger, but Harper made sure not to lose what made it special. He kept the old core systems, the ones that helped them win battles when no one believed in them. Then came word of something bigger. A coalition of alien forces was forming. The Zarnathi, the Virex, and even some Karani rebels were uniting. Their goal was clear: stop the rise of human power before it grew too strong. They were planning a major attack. Human fleets began preparing for war. Ships gathered, plans were made, and at the center of it all stood the Benjamin Franklin, ready to lead the charge. Megan walked up to Harper as the final orders came in. "This time," she said, "they won't laugh." Harper gave a small smile. "Good, because we're not here to impress them. We're here to win." And for the first time, the galaxy knew better than to underestimate the slow human warship. The battle began at the edge of human space. The alien coalition had come with everything they had: fast ships, heavy weapons, and old hatred for the rising humans. They thought they could end this war in one strike. They were wrong. The USS Benjamin Franklin led the human fleet. Captain Daniel. Harper stood on the bridge, calm as ever. Megan Brooks watched beside him. Around them, dozens of human ships formed a line. This was not just a fight. It was a test. A chance to prove that humanity belonged among the stars. Harper gave quiet orders. His voice never rose. He didn't need to shout. His crew knew their jobs. They trusted him. The enemy came fast. Fighters dove through the dark. Missiles lit up the void. Explosions flashed like fireflies in the night. Then Harper made his move. He sent the faster ships ahead, drawing enemy fire. As expected, the aliens focused on them. But while they fought, the Benjamin Franklin moved slowly into position behind the enemy line. It was not speed that won battles. It was timing. Harper ordered a full railgun volley. The ship fired from long range. Enemy command ships took direct hits. Chaos spread. The alien flagship tried to retreat, but it was too late. The Benjamin Franklin closed in, using gravity fields and dead zones to stay hidden until the last second. Then came the final blow. Harper knew the enemy flagship had to be destroyed. He saw only one way to do it, by pulling it into a collapsing star system nearby. It was risky, maybe even a one-way trip. He gave the order. The Benjamin Franklin turned hard, engines burning. Railguns fired non-stop. The enemy tried to escape, but Harper kept pressure on them. He used every trick he had learned. Then, deep inside the stars, pull. Both ships vanished in a flash of light. Silence followed. Back on the human command ship, Megan stared at the screen. Her hands shook. No signal came. No sign of life. She whispered, "Captain." Later, a small pod was found floating near neutral space. It was damaged, but it was alive. Inside were 2 escape suits. One was empty. One was not. No one said it out loud, but hope remained. The war was over. Humanity had won. Megan now led the next generation of warships. She carried Harper's lessons with her. One day, she read his final log entry again. Speed wins races. Patience wins wars. And so, the slow warship became legend.